Anti-corruption war is not negotiable if Nigeria is to achieve greatness. This is coming from President Buhari as he receives former South African president. Federal government reiterates commitment to move social intervention programs just as it moves to avert farming next year. And National Judicial Council recommends dismissal of 2 judges. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Elizabeth Stober in Abuja. Michael Olaile joins me from Lagos and Kemioshin is in Ibadan. President Muhammadu Buhari says fighting corruption in Nigeria is not only a must, but non-negotiable if the country is to realize her potential for greatness. The president stated this while receiving the former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, on a courtesy visit. State House correspondent Adam Sombo has details.
The former South African President Thabo Mbeki heads the African Union high-level panel on illicit financial flows from Africa. He is here in the State House to give critical updates to President Muhammadu Buhari as champion of the African Union anti-corruption campaign. President Buhari told his guests that fighting corruption was one of the reasons for his election and that can be done frontally. His administration, he said, cannot afford to let the people down and therefore pre-election promises of securing the country, reviving the economy and fighting corruption must be fulfilled. The president noted with delight that the government is making serious progress on the war against corruption. He described as pleasing the assignment the former South African president is executing for the African continent, submitting that when Africa is vigorous with a crusade against corruption, it can eventually appeal to the conscience of the rest of the world. Former President Thabo Mbeki said corruption is an African problem that must be addressed as developmental challenges can only be met through the check of illicit financial flows. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari for remaining focused on the issue in most of his speeches, with the most recent being at the United Nations General Assembly. The AU high-level panel, he said, is pleased with the way and manner the Nigerian leader is taking up the matter, as countries need political will to stop the illicit financial flows. As he puts it, the more we are showing that we are acting as Africans, the easier to get the rest of the world to cooperate. Mr. Mbeki was emphatic that Nigeria is showing good example. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's leadership in the fight to stop illicit financial flow out of the continent has been described as an inspiration to other African countries. Former President of South Africa and now the chairman of African Union High-Level Panel on Illicit Financial Flows, Thabo Mbeki, stated this in Abuja at a special session to review the performance of African countries. Femi Okewo reports.
Though the high-level panel on illicit financial flows from Africa came into existence in 2012, it was in January of 2015 that the Thabo Mbeki panel recommended that African countries should do reports on their progress in this area. That is what the panel is in Nigeria to do, a process which President Thabo Mbeki said Nigeria has since championed and used to inspire other African countries to check illicit financial flows out of the continent.
To identify how these outflows take place and to make recommendations as to what might be done.
Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, listed 4 major areas which Nigeria has used to check illicit financial flows and, one after the other, explained their efficacy in the campaign.
As a nation, we have succeeded in establishing institutions that are mandated with the statutory role of fight against corruption, fighting corruption, and indeed addressing the menace of illicit financial flow.
The briefing will run for 2 days, with various government institutions stating their roles to help Nigeria combat the flow and recommend same to other African countries, which the chairman of the panel says have not been responsive enough.
We need to be blunt, we need to be honest and straight. The fact of the matter is that we have so far failed as a panel to submit those annual reports to the AU. And the reason for that is because very few African countries have responded.
You would expect that if African countries are not responding to the panel's initiative, then a form of penalty could be meted out to them to get them to fall in line. But President Thabo Mbeki says the reward of keeping African resources within the continent is far more than any penalty that could be meted out to any African country, which is why the committee or the panel insists on continuously sensitizing the African nations on the benefits of keeping their resources within the African continent. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has reiterated the commitment of the federal government to introducing more social intervention programs that with a view to empowering young Nigerians on profitable entrepreneurial skills. The Vice President stated this at the 20th edition of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Kaduna. Mohammed Umar Ajingi has details.
The Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic is a federal government initiative aimed at building the capacity of youths in entrepreneurship, small-scale businesses, and expose them to agencies which make impact on business to ease access to facilities that will stimulate growth in all sectors of the economy. The Vice President says the federal government believes in the Nigerian youths, hence the various initiatives aimed at creating an enabling environment that will positively engage their talent.
Today's event, as I've said, is the 20th edition of the clinics. Through the various editions, we have seen inspiring examples of how governments can make a difference in the lives of entrepreneurs by paying attention to them and by demonstrating the political will to unwind the bureaucratic bottlenecks that so frequently face our businesses. MSMEs are also now better informed about the roles that the various federal government agencies regulating their activities play, as well as the incentives available for their benefit.
Governor Nasiru Ahmad El-Rufai says the Kaduna State government has since keyed into the federal government initiative of empowering entrepreneurs.
The social investment program that you have championed has not only created job opportunities for many young people, giving them hope, but provided many skills that are needed by various state governments.
The Vice President visited Kaduna Information Communication Technology Center, where he interacted with young experts on ICT who have made the country proud within and outside the shore of Nigeria. Before departing, the Vice President made a brief stopover at Sheikh Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi Market, where he interacted with traders. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
The National Judicial Council has recommended to the President the dismissal of 2 judges and rejected voluntary retirement of 1 other judge and ordered him to refund 2 years' salary and emoluments. This is the outcome of the meeting of the NJC, which also referred the case of a legal practitioner to the disciplinary committee. The judges recommended for dismissal are Justice Ofili Ajimogobia and Justice James Agbadu Fishim, while Justice Ofili Ajimogobia was dismissed pursuant to the findings of the Council on the allegations of misconduct contained in a petition by the acting EFCC chairman, Ibrahim Magu. Justice James Agbadu Fishim's offense, also as contained in the EFCC chairman's petition, is that he received various sums of money from litigants and lawyers that had cases before him. On the political scene now, President Muhammadu Buhari has held a crucial meeting with some APC governors as tension continues to mount over the conduct of primary elections by the governing party in some states of the Federation. State House correspondent Adam Sombo has details.
At a meeting held behind closed doors where the chairman, Progressives Governors Forum, Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State, Chairman, Nigeria Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar of Zamfara State, Governor Umaru Tanko Alamakura of Nasarawa, and Simon Lalong of Plateau State. There were also the governors of Niger, Abubakar Sani Bello, Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi, Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo, and Ibikunle Amusun of Ogun State. President Muhammadu Buhari summoned the meeting to review the various crises characterizing the conduct of primary elections in some states with a view to finding lasting solutions. Direct method of voting was adopted for presidential primaries nationwide and adjudged to be very successful. For other elective positions still ongoing in some states, however, both direct and indirect methods were used depending on the preference of the various stakeholders. Although it worked very well in producing the party's flag bearers in some states, in others, however, there is still much to be desired.
Our party believes in justice, equity, and fairness, and we are requesting that let the right thing be done and let everyone contest elections.
The meeting, which lasted about 1.5 hours, was also attended by the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And a meeting between the national executives and governors of the All Progressives Congress has ended with a resolution that the October 6th date for the party's national convention is sacrosanct, despite ongoing primaries. Salio Abdullahi reports.
Closed-door meeting between APC National Executive and the APC governors was held shortly after the one with President Muhammadu Buhari. How to meet a major legal requirement of holding a convention to nominate presidential candidates, how to organize a successful exercise and address challenges arising from the ongoing primary election dominated discussions.
There are some elements who believe that they can hijack the process and impose their personal preference. We are trying to clean up our political parties' internal democracy and eliminate corruption as much as we can from the process, and empower the ordinary party member to have a say and a decisive voice.
There are bound to be issues or challenges in one or two places, but I think because it's a dynamic process, I believe it will be resolved.
Party that is very popular, party that is in power, everybody will want to be there.
Time is our number one enemy. We are working harder, faster, to ensure that we got this thing done so that we can be able to start coming to convention on Saturday.
The APC is confident that matters arising from the party primaries are family affairs that will be addressed internally and form a common cause of working towards success in the 2019 general elections. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
In the meantime, an 8-man delegation from the National Working Committee of the APC has arrived Kwara State to conduct the party's primaries slated for 5th and 6th October 2018. Iyabode Olorunshola completes the report.
Which was earlier scheduled to hold between the 3rd and 5th of October will now take place on the 6th and 7th of October respectively. That of Senatorial and House of Representatives will take place tomorrow, Friday, 6th of October, while that of Governorship and State House of Assembly will take place on Saturday, 7th of October. The chairman of the electoral panel to the state, Iyola Oladokun, appealed to aspirants to cooperate with the committee to ensure a successful primary election.
The peculiarity of the issue of Kwara State, the National Secretariat had to make sure that they put everything in place to have a very, very successful primary so that whoever emerges for each and all the elective offices, we will be able to maximize the confidence of our people and ensure success for them.
Minister for Information, Lai Mohammed, reminded party members and aspirants to shun violence and ensure a successful primary election.
The APC primary elections will be conducted directly in the 193 wards of Kwara State.
And the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress condemns the unauthorized Congress into the Senate, House of Representatives, and House of Assembly held in Edo State. The party, in a statement by its acting National Publicity Secretary, Yakini Napena, described the exercise conducted by unauthorized persons in collaboration with the Edo State Working Committee as null and void. A primary election committee under the chairmanship of Farida Odangi Suleiman is in Edo State to conduct the primaries into the Senate, House of Representatives, and House of Assembly. The party admonishes all party members in Edo State to cooperate with the committee to ensure a credible exercise. Ahead on the news tonight, federal government sets a target date for all teachers to professionalize. We'll bring you details after this time out. Stay with us.
Inside this beautiful house, inside there is a very beautiful family. And in this family, there is a lot of love. And inside this love, there's Alpenliebe. And in the center of Alpenliebe, there is a filling made with rich milk and creamy caramel. Alpenliebe, the milk-filled candy that warms your heart with love. Alpenliebe, bring hearts closer.
The Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, and the Minister of State, Professor Anthony Gozie Anwoka, invite members of the National Assembly, Federal Executive Council, Chief Executives of parastatals under the Ministry of Education, chairmen and members of university governing councils, vice chancellors of universities, rectors and provosts of polytechnics and colleges of education, trade unions and other stakeholders in the education sector, teachers and schools at all levels, and the general public to this year's celebration of World Teachers' Day, which comes up on Friday, 5th October 2018 at the Eagle Square, Abuja by 10 a.m. Come, let's celebrate our teachers. Architect Sonny Echomo, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
All right, kids, today you're all going to tell me how you all spent your holidays. So the essay will be... Who did that? Who did that? Of the new school session with great tasting Indomie noodles. Hurry now and get yours. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
The chairman of All Progressives Congress, APC National Convention Planning Committee, cordially invites all delegates to the 2018 National Convention to elect the presidential candidate of the party as follows. Date, Saturday, October 6, 2018. Venue, Eagle Square, FCT, Abuja. Time, 8 a.m. His Excellency, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, Executive Governor of your state, Chairman, National Convention Planning Committee, Announcer.
Kehinde suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
This is my first experience riding this train. I've heard about it so much all around the city.
Actually, I'm surprised that such a development is coming to us.
I was impressed, so neat, and actually you can compare with any type of train, all over the world.
I could not imagine that I'll be going from Edo straight to the airport by train.
And the environment is so clean, and the ACs are cool.
I want to commend federal government for the initiative to provide these train services.
And I wish to laud the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in seeing that this project is a reality.
Please get ready to alight on the right side of the train. Thank you.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Network News. Nigerian traders in Ghana have once again been reassured that the federal government is not sparing efforts to ensure that their rights are protected. The Nigerian High Commissioner to Ghana, Ambassador Olufemi Michael Abikoye, re-emphasized this at the celebration of the nation's 58th independence anniversary at the Nigeria House in Accra, Ghana.
The ceremony brought together dignitaries from the Ghanaian government, ambassadors, high commissioners from other countries to celebrate with Nigerians residents in Ghana. Nigeria's High Commissioner to Ghana, Ambassador Olufemi Michael Abikoye, said the present administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari has indeed brought renewed hope in restoring the nation's security, rebalancing the economy, and tirelessly fighting corruption. Now, almost to a standstill. The High Commissioner told the gathering that talks are ongoing towards tackling issues relating to how the implementation of Ghanaian trade laws have negatively impacted on Nigerian traders. He said President Muhammadu Buhari has personally taken up the issue with his Ghanaian counterparts.
The enviable, excellent relation that subsists between our two great countries in West Africa and beyond is very optimized by the resounding successes being recorded in our peaceful negotiations and resolutions of mutual beneficial issues through the newly rebanded Nigerian-Ghana Permanent Joint Commission.
Representative of the Ghanaian government says, as the two largest economies in West Africa, the subsisting excellent bilateral relations between Nigeria and Ghana remain crucial.
Thank you very much.
It was an opportunity to showcase Nigeria's rich cultural heritage at a special dinner where they agreed to maintain the spirit of Be Your Brother's Keeper that has been existing amongst them. Adebola, Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has reminded journalists of their critical role in ensuring a peaceful society by exhibiting high level of professionalism while collaborating with government towards a credible 2019 general elections. This was in his message to the opening of the 6th Triennial Delegates Conference of the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Abuja. Shagun Nale reports.
The 6th Delegates Conference of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, provided another opportunity for journalists, veterans, past NUJ leaders, as well as media practitioners to review activities of the professional body in the last 3 years, look inwards, and set goals for another 3 years in advancing the course of journalism practice in Nigeria. Information Minister Lai Mohammed and Governor Ibikunle Amosun of Ogun State, who are both represented, speak to the theme of this year's delegate conference, which centers on hate speech and fake news in relation to the 2019 general elections.
The NUJ has a critical role to play in the success or the otherwise of the forthcoming 2019 general elections. Making the evil of hate speeches part of the theme of your conference assures us.
For the organized labor, the welfare of members remains sacrosanct.
Media in Nigeria has contributed a lot to the development of this democracy.
By attending meetings internationally, he has come to the conclusion that journalists in Nigeria are the most vibrant in Africa.
Professor Muyiwa Popowola, a lecturer in media studies, guest lecturer, enjoined practitioners to uphold professional and ethical standards at all times. In Abeokuta, Segun Lawole, NTA News.
157 surrendered Boko Haram members that were successfully rehabilitated are ready for resettlement and reintegration into the society. This was in a message by the Chief of Defense Staff to a stakeholders meeting on modalities for the resettlement. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the event is organized by the Defense Intelligence Agency.
In September 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari directed the establishment of Operation Safe Corridor to create an avenue for willing and repentant Boko Haram members to surrender and go through a well-structured deradicalization and rehabilitation program.
They are meant to go through spiritual counseling, psychotherapy, and drug abuse intervention. They are also introduced to various vocations, Western education.
With a camp situated in Gombe State, the non-kinetic counter-insurgency program is aimed at preparing the ex-Boko Haram members for resettlement and reintegration to the society.
The first two streams, comprising 6 associated persons and 95 ex-fighters, have been successfully transferred to their state governments for resettlement.
This meeting with key players is to develop a blueprint for the transfer of 157 rehabilitated former members of Boko Haram from the de-radicalization camp to their respective state authorities and countries for resettlement.
In the course of the transfer and resettlement of the first batch, certain lessons were learned, which will shape this batch's resettlement.
It is important to note that since the commencement of Operation Safe Corridor, no negative report regarding the activities of the rehabilitated resettled ex-combatant has been received from the Defense Intelligence Agency in Abuja. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
2 more vehicles have been recovered from the abandoned mining pond where the missing Major General Idris Alkali's car was discovered recently in Duradu, Jos South local government area of Plateau State. This brings to 3 the number of vehicles so far recovered from the pond. Rinret Silvanus reports that the Army has made some arrests in connection with the missing Army General.
For General Alkali reported missing on the 3rd of September, led the Nigerian Army headquarters to inaugurate a special task force to search for the general. Acting on an intelligence report, the search and rescue team was led to the pond at Duradu in Jos South local government area of Plateau State. The search that seemed almost impossible at first, with resistance from some women of the community, began to expose suspected criminal activities, beginning with the discovery of this car door. This further boosted the Army's resolve to dig further, an act that resulted in the discovery of General Alkali's car.
The sum total of it is that this pond contains a lot of hidden secrets, and we are determined to unveil.
We have searched, we've not seen the body yet, but we'll continue. We know what to do.
2 days later, 2 more vehicles, a Toyota Hiace bus and a Red Rover, were pulled out from the pond. On fears of collective punishment on the community due to these discoveries, the military gave this assurance.
You know that we have credible intelligence to know who and who are involved, and we'll get them sooner than you expected. So the village or the community does not have anything to fear.
The mandate, according to the general supervising the search and rescue, is to find the missing general, dead or alive. In Jos, Rinret Silvanus Lot, NTA News.
4 people, including a toddler, have lost their lives, while many houses, vehicles and shops were razed as a result of a tanker explosion at Onyerebulem Junction along Akure-Owo Expressway in Akure, Ondo State. Toyin Batire has details.
According to eyewitnesses, the incident occurred yesterday around some minutes after 6 in the evening.
The Okada rider tried to run into the trailer. The trailer dodged the Okada rider. Then he moved to the Corolla Sport. So he was trying to dodge the Corolla Sport too. But initially, the trailer had to tumble and the fumble took place immediately.
Aside burning to ashes, the 4 occupants of the Toyota Corolla car, 5 vehicles, 2 houses and many shops along the road were also affected.
I have 3 children, nothing, so it's only this shop that we used to cope. Government should help me because I don't know where to start. And most of the market that I collect in credits. Even yesterday I just collected some. I stocked my shop.
It took the intervention of the Ondo State Ministry of Works, men of the Federal Road Safety Corps, and officials of the fire services to calm the inferno.
But in order to prevent it from further occurring, we are making effort to remove all the obstructions from the highway.
The engineers are here, the PS has been here, everybody has been here. We will see what we can do because this place is very, very notorious.
Meanwhile, in the early hours of this morning, men of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps and Federal Road Safety Corps were on the road to ensure free flow of traffic. In Akure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
Talking health now, Minister of Health Professor Isaac Adewale has reassured Nigerians of a robust healthcare system under the present administration. He gave the assurance while inspecting the newly extended radiotherapy cancer center at the National Hospital, Abuja. Charity Zaka reports that the visit was part of efforts to meet the December 2018 deadline of the use of the facility.
Minister of Health Professor Isaac Adewale says the federal government is committed towards the reduction of the growing effect of cancer in Nigeria through the provision of a world-class center that will help in the treatment and management of cancer as against medical tourism abroad.
Our vision is not just to offer treatment to Nigerians, but to even people in West Africa. And we think with what we have on ground, we should be able to do that. And when we offer treatment to non-Nigerians, we'll be able to make money to keep the services going. And also prevent people going out when such services are available in Nigeria. You know the best place to get treatment is among your people.
The Chief Medical Director, Jeff Momo, said the added machine would assist in giving a standard cancer treatment to patients in Nigeria and other African countries.
In terms of preparedness, you have to talk of human resource. We have high caliber oncologists who have been trained to international standards. We have nuclear medicine specialists. We have therapy radiographers. We have medical physicists. You met all of them.
Charity Zaka, NTA News.
You can delete the remaining. Okay. Still talking health. Contrary to the anxiety created by alleged blindness disease in Ruga community in the Federal Capital Territory, findings following a visit by officials of the Federal Ministry of Health reveals conjunctivitis infection. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah gives us a clearer picture on the situation.
The team from the Federal Ministry of Health was led by consultant ophthalmologist Dr. Ibrahim Kana. Armed with the instrument known as ophthalmoscope, he screened some of the affected members of the community. His conclusion emanated from diagnosis and his interaction with them.
First of all, we are going to treat all of them. We are going to give them antibiotics, to treat the infections. For those that have allergic conditions, we are also going to give them drugs to take care of them for free, of course, from government. But most importantly is the issue of personal hygiene.
From all indication, there's only one case of blindness here, and that has to do with the little boy over there. What was your finding?
Really, there's only one child that is bilaterally blind. And his blindness is not a blindness, it's not an acute blindness. It's a child that has been blind for over 1 year. And his blindness, clearly, obviously, this child suffered from measles, and from the information the mother gave, they were admitted in Wose Hospital and eventually in Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital in Shika, on the ophthalmology department. So clearly you can see there's a history, that led to his own blindness. So not as a result of the current situation that they are having, really.
Ruga community is a slum devoid of any social amenity, a situation begging for the attention of the Abuja Municipal Area Council. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
The federal government has set December 2019 as deadline for all serving and prospective teachers to obtain relevant certificates and licenses to be qualified to teach in the country. The Minister of State Education, Professor Anthony Anwuka, at a media briefing on this year's World Teachers' Day, says the measure is to enhance professionalism in education. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has details.
5th of October every year is set aside by UNESCO for member nations to recognize and appreciate teachers for their contributions to the profession and nation building. Professor Anwuka said, while the federal government has instituted a Presidential Teachers and School Excellence Award, steps have been taken to further sanitize the profession, which has over the years been considered the last resort for the unemployed. While describing teaching as a noble profession that plays a key role in whatever anybody becomes in life, the minister stressed the need for all serving and prospective teachers to obtain Teachers Registration Council certificate and license.
Teachers are no longer registered to practice as teachers unless they pass the prescribed professional qualifying examination conducted by the TRCN. This is in tandem with the international best practices.
He said the government through UBEC has allocated funds for teacher professional development to expose teachers and education managers to current education policies and training needs. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
The National Organizing Committee of the Power Safety Summit and Exhibition is to visit the Managing Director of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company at the corporate headquarters in Abuja on Friday. A statement by the committee indicates that the Managing Director, Chiedu Ugbo, will be decorated with PSS insignia, the 2018 Safety Ambassador. Chiedu Ugbo has been actively involved at various levels in the actualization of the privatization of the Nigerian power sector value chain. The statement adds that the event is significant because it involves a broad spectrum of collaboration between the public, private sectors, civil society, and electricity consumers. The essence is to raise the bar of safety culture and strict adherence to standards. Journalists are expected to be seated by 1 p.m. Lagos, the center of excellence, is where we go next, and Michael brings us developments in that zone. Michael?
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Lagos. Accreditation and voting through the secret ballot system is currently underway simultaneously in Lagos for the People's Democratic Party governorship primaries. The contest is between the 2015 governorship candidate of the party, Jimmy Agbaje, and Adedeji Dorothy. Our correspondent on ground reports that the turnout of party faithful is huge, making it difficult for security officials to operate. The exercise is ongoing local government by local government as both candidates are on ground. Party members are being advised to leave the venue after casting their votes. The chairman of the Lagos State Electoral Committee is Senator Victor Kazim Oyofo, who will keep you updated in our subsequent bulletin. The Nigerian Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone A has intercepted various contraband goods with a duty-paid value of over 2 billion naira. The controller of Federal Operations Unit, Muhammad Aliu, disclosed these during a press briefing in Lagos. Muhammad Abdulkadir reports.
It is not business as usual with the increased tempo in the fight against smuggling in the country by the officers and men of the Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit. This array of 22 exotic cars, out of which 9 are bulletproof, is proof of successes recorded in the anti-smuggling war by the unit within a space of 1 month. The briefing by the unit is the second in the series to serve as deterrent to criminal elements sabotaging the nation's economy.
This is a national security. They are not much, but the damage they are going to do will be much. That's why we apprehended them. 28
suspects in the custody of the customs have cases to answer in connection with 89 seizures, including military camouflage and 18 trailers of imported parboiled rice, valued at over 2,017 million naira. The demand notices on vehicles and the general goods that try to cut corners from seaports, airports, and border stations accrued to about 220 million naira. Behind me are 3 delivery vans containing about 14 million naira worth of drugs being imported into the country from the Republic of Benin. And the drivers and the conductors are said to be at large. From the Federal Operations Unit, Zone A, Muhammad Abdulkadir, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports are here after this timeout. Please stay with us.
Come on, look at this guy. Yeah, that's it. Fall back. Fall back. Oh, this boy.
TomTom refreshes and sharpens your senses, making you come alive. Go for it with TomTom. Darling, what's the matter? It's your birthday. Guests are already waiting at the pool.
It's headache, cold, pains all over my body.
Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet contains powerful ingredients specially prepared to bring you fast relief from headache, body ache, cough, flu, cold, and fever. Baby, how are you feeling now?
Wow, I feel great thanks to Cold Time Tablet.
Cold Time Tablet also available with syrup for children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, a quality product from Embassy Pharmaceutical and Chemicals Limited. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, your visa to healthy living.
Chivita Active Fruit Juice. Unique quality blend of 6 citrus fruit juices. Want to dance? Chivita Active. Be active. Do more. Get more out of life.
House of Cheese.
I've got something for you. Clorette's is the only gum that eliminates odors, giving you real fresh breath.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, the federal government's digital economy drive gets a boost, plus Thursday's trading figures on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Chukunonso Mwabweze has details of these and more on Business News.
Hello and welcome to Business News. Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations says it will partner a private firm to increase its capacity to foster Nigeria's participation in the digital economy nationally and internationally. Chief Trade Negotiator of Nigeria, Chiedu Osakwe, says, given the country's already vibrant online commerce market, the partnership will, among other benefits, boost the capacity and trust of small and medium enterprises selling online within and outside Nigeria, as well as foster investment in youth and job creation that leverages the digital economy. Meanwhile, the Africa Cooperative experts have appealed to African countries, including Nigeria, to fully utilize and take advantage of cooperatives in boosting their economy. They made the plea at the 2018 ministerial meeting on cooperatives holding in Abuja.
Cooperative is the best system we can use to be able to maximize the benefits of free trade in Africa.
And the equities market shared -0.
That's the much we can take on Business News. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has exported oil and gas amounting to $460 million in June 2018.
Statement from the corporation said the figure represents 36% increase. The breakdown shows that crude oil sales was $275 million, representing 66% increase compared to May, while gas export amounted to $141 million. NNPC also disclosed that repairs of ruptured gas pipeline enabled the supply of gas to most thermal electricity generating plants in the country, delivering 744 million standard cubic feet gas daily, making it possible to generate average power of about 2,970 megawatts. Natural gas also recorded increase in the period under review. In the downstream sector, NNPC says 1,195 million litres of petrol was supplied through the direct sales, direct purchase arrangement.
You're watching NTN Network News. Time to link up with Kemi in Ibadan for more reports. Over to you, Kemi.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Ibadan. The National Coordinator of Buhari Campaign Organization, BCO, Danladi Pasali, says no Nigerian government has touched the lives of the poor than President Muhammadu Buhari's administration in 3 years. Pasali made this known at the inauguration of Bus Conductors Association of Nigeria under the auspices of Buhari Campaign Organization. Ayomiko Ajibola has the reports.
The national coordinator of the organization, Danladi Pasali, said the Southwest has always played a prominent role in the politics of the country, saying it was one of the pillars behind the success of the campaign organization of President Muhammadu Buhari in the last presidential election.
The women and youth that we have seen, it shows clearly that the Southwest are 100% Buharis.
He said President Muhammadu Buhari meant well for the country and committed to ensure Nigeria attained greater heights, urging Nigerians to give him another chance. Other stakeholders said the group is pushing for Buhari's second term in office because the president has demonstrated commitment to fight corruption and has been faithful to his promises to Nigerians.
There's no candidate can stamp President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019.
Buhari has tried a lot for the country. He's one of the most truthful, most honest leader in the world.
We know before now this country has been so dependent on oil. But this government, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, has come to work seriously in the area of agriculture.
Earlier was the inauguration of Oyo State Liaison Officers and Executive of Bus Conductors Association of Nigeria of the Buhari Campaign Organization. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Achibola, NTA News.
The federal government says no stone will be left unturned as the country prepares for smooth and seamless transition from analog to digital broadcasting. This was the outcome of a training workshop for stakeholders in the broadcast industry held in Ibadan as part of efforts to bridge knowledge gap in the digitization process. Goke Alamogi has details.
The two-day training program, which had station engineers in the broadcast industry as participants, focused on areas of operations of digital system and also the specific roles of stakeholders in the Nigerian broadcasting space as a way of improving the quality of transmission. Organizers of the workshop say the country stands to gain tremendously from the digital switchover for Nigerians to take advantage of the available broadcast spectrum.
We're hoping that the engineers and technicians that came for this program will go out better informed as to what the digitization process is all about.
If we can make better use of that space on the electromagnetic spectrum, then we can release the rest of the space for other new developments, modern applications.
Other stakeholders share the opinion that digital era has the capacity to meet the expansion in broadcast television.
We'll be able to get into the rural area. Urbanization will take place, ease of communication will take place.
But they were able to enlighten us on the challenges that made it impossible.
The DigiTeam Nigeria is the committee set up by the federal government to work out the smooth transitioning of analog to digitization. In Ibadan, Goke Alamogi, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more on Network News.
Thank you, Kemi. The federal government plans to avert food crisis that may occur next year as a result of flooding that disrupted crop production in most parts of the country. The Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ogbe, says this will be achieved through what he described as massive food production in the dry season. Musa Baba Aliu has details.
The specific hectares of land and number of farmers affected by the flood, which has wreaked havoc in some parts of the country, remain unknown. However, it is established that rice, sorghum and maize plantations are worse hit. Minister of Agriculture Audu Ogbe presents a picture of a farmer losing 8,000 hectares of rice.
Of rice, all ruined by the floods.
The minister emphasized the need for improvement in the country's dry season farming, stating that improved seeds will be available to boost production.
As soon as the rains recede, we encourage farmers again to replant so that the residual moisture in the soil plus irrigation can give up another crop maybe by the end of December or early January. Otherwise, we may be in serious trouble for millet, rice, maize, and sorghum.
I urge the seed companies to join in creating awareness among farmers in their various locations of operation to demonstrate the potentials of improved seed.
To this end, molecular facility was established by the federal government to boost seeds production and registration in Nigeria. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the United Nations has commended the federal government for the prompt intervention in the 2018 flood disaster that ravaged most parts of the country. Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Mehaja, disclosed this when he received a forum of spokesperson of security response agencies. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
Those who displayed the UN's letter of commendation to the forum promise not to leave any stone unturned in saving lives of victims of flood. He said already the United Nations has deployed its team to assist NEMA's response team for optimum response. The Director General thanked the Forum of spokespersons for identifying with NEMA at this trying period and promised to synergize with the Forum in achieving the set goals.
I take this opportunity to commend the government of Nigeria on its response to the floods and reiterate the commitment of the international community to reinforce efforts underway to address the need of the affected people.
Chairman of the Forum and Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General John Ajim, commended NEMA for promptly responding to the flood, thus saving many lives. He said the Forum will work with NEMA in managing information on the activities of all federal government agencies. The volume of water in dams and rivers have receded as NEMA continues to evacuate residents from flood-prone areas. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We'll bring you sports after this commercial break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Sorry for the loss of sound in that commercial. Now, honor was given to whom it is due at the 150th birthday anniversary of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, referred to as the father of the Indian nation. Patricia Esamiluba was at the Indian High Commission in Abuja, where she reports that top government functionaries, diplomats, friends, and the Indian community gathered to celebrate the life and messages of Gandhi.
Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, popularly known as Mahatma Gandhi, and to the Indians as Bapu, lived a life of sacrifice to ensure the emancipation of the downtrodden. He demonstrated to the world that it is possible to practice non-violent resistance and fight injustice without destruction. He was a lover of peace, and that is why speakers at this event dwelled extensively on the different aspects of his persona, belief, and toil that brought about the independence of India. This giant stride of Gandhi earned him many titles, including the Great Souled One.
Gandhiji was a personification of the vision of a modern India, simple, elegant, amicable, loving, caring, tolerant, and above all, non-violent.
This is a great man who has turned around not only India, but he has turned around the world.
And he decided to fight against oppression.
There were different activities at the celebration, from presentation of prizes to awards at an art competition on Gandhi, down to an online quiz and recitation of Gandhi's favorite bhajan song, Vaishna Jantor, by Nigerian singers. In Abuja, Patricia Esamiluba, NTA News.
And sports, it's next with Kene Ima Abodike.